Okay, so all the walls are texture ready. I got this wall texture ready, and I've got some plastic up here and plastic on the floor. And because I've never textured before, I put up a piece right here in the center so I can use this as a test strip so I can figure out how to use the texture gun. So I just purchased this texture gun right here, which is the most inexpensive texture gun they sell at Harbor Freight Tools. I got it with the coupon for like $23. The comparable one at the Home Depot is $70. So we'll see. It says you're supposed to clean it up when you first use it, so I did with the mineral spirits and a rag, but I don't know, I really didn't feel like there was anything there, but anyways, I cleaned it up. Now this is my home air compressor, and I know it's small and I know it's probably weak, but I'm going to try it anyways before I go to a larger compressor. For the mud. Alright, so all these walls here in the bathroom are all ready for texture as well. I didn't put up any paper yet because I want to see what this texture is working with the texture gun is like spraying over here. So that's my test sample. Okay, now the mud. For the mud, I purchased this box of mud right here. Taping and topping lightweight joint compound, $10 a box, 3.5 pounds of material. I'll put it here in a bucket, use my mixing paddle, mix it up to pancake batter, and then go to town. So that's where I'm at right now, and stay tuned, we'll see how we do. Okay, so I did test sample here. I went a little bit too heavy right here, but then I kind of noticed that, backed off and started spraying lighter over here, and I'll be honest with you, it looks perfectly fine to me. Looks like an orange peel texture, which is, by the way, what I'm going for. This gun came with 3 tips, small, medium, and large. Right now I got the medium tip in there right now, and I got the handle backed off about 8 turns, and I got about 60 psi on my compressor. So I am going to rip this paper down and spray this wall right now. Alright, so here is the final product on this wall here. Let's see if I can show it to you. It came out pretty good. Not sure how well the camera is getting it because I'm just looking in the little viewfinder here, but I did mess up, right? Wait a minute, where is it? Try to show you where I messed up. Hold on, there it is. I did mess up right there, so when I do this bathroom and I have the gun out with the material, I'll just reshoot that. So anyways, I put inside here, I just did put some paper up on the wall there and a couple spots here, and I tried different guns. This one here, not guns, but tips. This is the small tip, this is the large tip. So I did the large tip here and tried to do a knockdown finish, and it came out okay, but I sprayed it too heavy. So I did the same thing over here with the large tip, but I didn't spray it as heavy, and I knocked it down, and I think I'm liking this one better. So the large tip, don't spray it too heavy, and then knock it down. And when you do the knockdown, you really gotta watch how much you're doing it. Anyways, so I'm gonna tape off now so I can get this sealing done with that. So that's my next step, is to tape off. Okay. Alright, so here's an update on the project. I got the ceiling has been shot with the knockdown finish reasonably well. I'm happy. I'm getting ready to shoot the walls, so that's why I've with orange peel, different texture. I've already put up the plastic and everything around the tub, and paper where it's close to the walls. And I put paper on the floor so that when I shoot all the way around, it's completely covered. The only thing that's left to get is this door, so I gotta get that going. But I've already got the light fixture there and the receptacle covered, and the light's out, so I have to use my stand-in light there so I can have some light, see what the heck's going on. Let me see. So I'm going to use my gun here with a small tip, and it's going to be, I watched a video and I got to make the mud a little bit looser. I think I was too tight on the mud. So again, here's the mud that I purchased. Lightweight topping compound, joint compound. So anyways, I got that one there. I'm going to start down here in this section because this is going to be where the cabinet is, so if I mess up, it's not going to be seen anyways. So that's my game plan, and here we go. Alright, I wanted to do this demonstration because I want to show you how soupy I have this mix. This is how soupy I got it. So I can pour it in. Last time I did this, it was too thick, I couldn't pour it in. Now it's so thin, you can pretty much just pour it right in from the bucket. So I'm going to try this, and I'm going to see how I like it. And if I like it, then I'm going to continue on with the rest of what I've got to do. So anyway, so just want to show you that. Alright, just got done spraying this. Let's see if you can pick this up. So anyways, I'm happy. I'm happy with that texture. Sometimes it can be difficult to tell how it's coming out on the camera through the little viewfinder, but you know, for the most part, I just sprayed this section down here, but I'm happy. I'm just gonna go ahead and continue on with the rest of the wall. So I just want to show you. Alright, so here's after the everything's been textured. Let's see, I've got my light here. Let's see if I can show you. Not sure how well the camera's going to pick it up, but I tried to get a knockdown fixture texture on the ceilings and a orange peel on the walls. Everything, I'm pretty happy with everything, except I noticed that some of the areas where I think I possibly went too heavy have pock marks. So let me show you what I'm doing. Let me find one here. Okay, right there. Okay, let me see if I can't show that on the camera. Hold on. Might be hard to see. But right there is like an area where, where it's possible I went too thick and I've got like some pock marks. I can see them with my naked eye. I don't know if the camera's picking it up. So what I'm going to do is I've got some, you know, I had to buy some more mud. I went and bought some USG +3 joint compound, and then I took some out of the bag and I just put it in here and I thinned it up. So this is the leftover of the thin stuff. So all I'm doing is just taking my finger here, putting a little bit of joint compound on my finger, coming over to the wall where I can see those pock marks. And I'm just going to take my finger here and just try to see if I can't fill those in. Try to make that a little bit smoother and let that dry over. So I'm just kind of going around. Oh, I also, one other thing I did was I just took a sanding tool and I just kind of went over very, 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 very lightly, like this. Just kind of went over everything just to kind of hit any high spots, so I went over the entire job once, just in case there was a high spot on the ceiling, on the walls, whatever. So I just did that. So now I'm just going to do a final inspection, look for any pock marks, kind of fill those in the way I showed you, and then pretty much I'll be ready for primer. And then that's it. You know, I got plastic covering the complete shower surround, and I put paper down on the floor, and I got all my outlets and all my plumbing fixtures and everything like that. Everything's taped over, so everything's 100% protected. The only thing I didn't do was I didn't texture here because I thought I'd leave that smooth. I was at a hotel the last few days, and I saw the detail, the way those guys did it. They took the texture and they brought it into here. So maybe I should have done it that way. But anyways, it's just an observation that I made there while I was at a hotel. All right. Anyways, that's it for now. Let me. So as I was prepping, the more that I looked at this window in this area right here, which I did not originally texture, it is so cracked, and I just was unhappy with it. So I went and decided I'm going to spray it. So here's my tape off job, taping the whole section off except for the section that I want to texture right here. And then I got a piece of cardboard here, so when I do the texturing, I'll kind of hold it like this, so I try to not do overspray on the wall that's already textured. So I'll be doing that in just a few minutes. Alright, here's that window that I just did. Let's see if I can show you that detail. So I just put an orange peel texture all the way around. Came out good. I'm happy, very happy that I did it, because it was looking pretty dire otherwise. Anyways, I took off all my tape and everything, and I thought everything was dry, but for some reason the mud in this one corner was still wet. It hasn't been overnight, it's just been a few hours. Thought it was okay, but for some reason this one corner is still, I guess I put it too heavy right there, where it's just heavier than the other spots, because the mud is still wet just right there. But anyways, that's that. While I had the gun out, there was another section. The camera's losing the focus, but over here there was another section that was losing it. So anyways, my next step is to go ahead and prime everything. So here I go. Alright, so here's my setup. I'm going to use Kilt's latex water-based primer, and I'm just going to use a regular 9-inch pan, 9-inch roller right there, and I'm just going to start over here with this wall, and then move on into here, do the ceiling and then the walls. And then I've just got a 3-inch brush here so I can get the trim around the corners, and that's it. And I'm going to go to 10. One thing that I'll do before I get going here is I'll take some masking tape, I'll put it around the roller and just take the fuzzies off before I start the job, just to remove the fuzzies. So little thing there to try to make the wall a little bit cleaner. In my particular case, I'm going to put I have a handle on it, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it this way, but then on my finish strokes I'll take the handle off and I'll go up and down the wall this way so that everything is uniform. So that's my intention, and that's how I'm going to do it. Okay. Okay, so here's one coat of primer on the walls and on the ceiling and over here on this entire wall right here. Probably doesn't look any different to you than the spray texture on the walls, but anyways, it definitely feels a lot smoother. You can feel the difference when you just have texture on the wall and you have a coat of primer on there. Okay, so my next job that I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this ceiling with this paint right here, which is Glidden ceiling paint, white. $11.75 at the Home Depot for 1 gallon. I thought that was a fantastic deal. So that's going up on the ceiling. When I do this ceiling, what I'll do is I'll bring the ceiling paint to the corner and then down about 1 inch. So that way, when I bring the wall up, I'll bring that up and cut that up into the ceiling. So this one, so it won't be like two joints meeting each other. One overlaps and then one cuts in. So that the wall will be the cutting. I left my tape on the wall here around the shower. So when I go to pull this off, I'm going to have to use a 6-inch utility knife like this. And then put a sharp, so a 6-inch taping knife like this, then take a utility knife and then cut all the way around so I don't pull the paint and everything off. But I'm going to leave it all up now, make my life easier. So that's all set. Everything else is already taped off from the texturing. So anyways, that's where I'm at. Do this ceiling first, then I'm going to come over here and do this wall with this color here. Then we'll see what time it is, and then maybe I can start doing the painting of the wall in here. And then that's it. Just a comment I want to make about painting. When I take my paint can and I pour it, when I pour it in, I always pour it in on this side rather than this side because I want to keep all this information. So what I'll do is I'll pour it in, and then I'll wipe this section off here. Then I'll put the lid on loose in case I need more paint. And then I always have a rag nearby, and then I can wipe that up. So I always like to paint as neatly as possible. I like to keep my cans clean and everything. As an example, this here is my can of kilts. This was actually the 2nd gallon. I burned through the 1st gallon because the walls and ceilings just sucked it up. This is what the can looks like after I'm done putting the primer on the wall. I mean, you can still read all the information. Nothing is blocked in case you want to read about coverage times and cleanups or anything that you want to read. Is all the information is still there. So this is how I like to paint. I like to paint neatly. So, and I also have, I have rags nearby. I even keep a bucket of water and a sponge nearby just in case I need to do that. Safety glasses and gloves, keep myself PPE, and that's how I roll, baby. All right, that's it. So even though today's paints have low VOCs, I got a fan blowing into the room. I got the window cracked open, and when I do the ceiling, the way that I'm doing it is I'll cut in with the brush like a certain section, like from here to here, and then I'll do this square. Then I'll cut in from here to here, and then I'll roll that square. Then I'll cut in from here another 3 feet out, and then do that square. Same thing. So if you can see the paint line, hold on. You can see the line on the ceiling right there. So I've gone up to that line right there, and now I'm going to continue on. So what I've done is I've cut in from here to the corner to halfway. So now I'm going to do this square, and then I'll cut this section in and then do that. So so I'm always trying to work with the wet edge and all that sort of jazz. And okay, so you remember I was telling you how I was on my 2nd can of kilts. Here's my 1st can of kilts. When I got done with this can, I took it outside, I took a garden hose to it and rinsed the whole thing out and let it sit, just so I had an empty paint can. And I didn't know I was going to need it, but what's happening is this. Here's the paint with this color here that's supposed to go on the wall out here. This paint is old. And so anyway, I'm sitting here and I'm mixing it up, and I'm getting all these goobers coming out. I even tried to stir it out with this, and there's too many goobers in here, and it's going to not be a good paint job. I can't really use this paint as is. So I want to strainer it out, right? So now I've got an empty paint can, and I'm just going to go ahead and use this, which is nice and clean, and I can go ahead and strainer it out right here and try to get a gallon of paint. So I'm going to try to work on this and strain this out right here, and get me a gallon of paint. See, I haven't used a strainer in so long, I can't remember how difficult they are to work with. Is this thing actually working? Alright, that's how slow, if you can see that. Boy, it's slower than molasses. It's going through, but not exactly a fast process. So I'm going to go ahead and strainer out this gallon into here and get that going. Alright, so I'm sitting here and I'm trying to strain out, and I'm just straining the stupid paint, right? And then I see the level go whoosh way down. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Do you see right there what's happening? The strainer is delaminating from the metal mesh strainer is delaminating from the paper, so it's got a big ass hole. That's my third one. This was the first one. That was the second one. That was the third one. So anyways, I got the package here. It says that it's from Workforce. You know, I just got it at the Home Depot. But what a big pain in the ass, let me tell you. You know, you purchase this stuff and you think it's going to be okay. The only thing is that it is old. I don't know how many. I bet you it's 8 years old. But you know, they were just sitting in the package, brand new. I thought it'd be okay, but at this point in time, it's like, you know, I was able to strainer out some of it. Anyways, aggravating. I'm wondering if the Lord wants me to purchase a new gallon of paint. Don't strainer the paint, Ken. Buy a new one. Alright, this is probably the best camera angle I'm going to give you for painting. Anyways, I did the cut in around the tops and the corners and the bottom. And now I'm just going ahead and working the paint. I'm just starting in the bottom right hand corner. Here you can see the contrast pretty good because it's different than white. Load up your roller and go to town. And now what I'm trying to do is just work a small section at a time. And the way that I've got the roller is I've got this end towards the direction that I'm painting, this end towards the direction. So this end there should be less pressure. So I'm trying to feather. The goal is to try to feather out that edge as best you can on your painting. So this way you have no lip marks or anything like that. So you're always trying to be aware of that. But basically it's just painting. It's not rocket science stuff. If you remember, there used to be a door here. Now there's a wall. And that's why we're here on this side of the bathroom, because I removed the door. And had to put up the drywall, tape it, and mud it. And then I textured it. And I tried to get orange peel texture. This was my first job, my first time texturing was actually on this wall right here. But pretty much, I think you get the gist of what I'm trying to show you. There's plenty of painting videos better than what I'm showing you, because I'm not a professional painter. I'm just a DIY homeowner who's just simply doing a bathroom remodel and trying to do. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to achieve professional grade results at the experience and tool level of a homeowner or a DIYer. I don't have, you know, the best of the tools. My experience level is not professional grade. It's just a DIY homeowner trying to get a job done. The results, with a little bit of effort, a little bit of common sense, a little bit of research, are not bad at all. I mean, a non-construction person could look at this wall and not realize that, you know, anything was ever done to it, because they don't look at it in that kind of detail. When you're the guy doing the work, you kind of look at things in a very great detail in order to determine what's happening there. So when I take the job into consideration, I got to take into consideration the final product, because I'm seeing this through from start to finish. I got to make sure the baseboard's going to be okay, the doors and thresholds and all those other things, taking everything into consideration. Let's see here. Move up the wall there a little bit. But basically that's it. If I have to do a second coat here, I'll do a second coat. Probably will do a second coat just because it's brand new and everything. So 1 coat of primer, 2 coats of paint. I'm going to call it a day at that. And even with 1 coat of paint, I got to tell you, and this is old paint. This paint is 8 years old. Even with 1 coat of paint, right now it's looking pretty rich. It's looking nice. When I do the cut-in, when I did the cut-in at first, I don't try to butter right into my, even though I got tape here on my door jambs and stuff, I don't try to tape right into it, cut the paintbrush right into it. What I try to do is try to pretend as if there's no tape there, and then I try to just go right up to the tape. So I'm as lenient with paint on the tape as possible. At least that's my intention. Sometimes it doesn't always work out, but you know, I can try. Sometimes, especially with the primering, I noticed I really had to push the roller into the work in order to, into the wall or ceiling, whatever whatever it is I'm painting, in order to get it to full coverage, a nice deep coverage. But it looks like it's going on a lot easier now, so I don't have to quite do that. Alright, so now I'm going to work my way here. Making sure I got no lip marks, trying to do the best I can. Almost done. Pretty quick. I mean, out of all the trades that I'm doing here, painting trade goes on the fastest. So all your prep, it's 90% prep. Painting is fast. Look how fast I just covered this wall in just a few minutes. Alright, so now I'm going to sit back for a second, observe the work, see if I have any lip marks or roller marks or whatever term you want to use. Make sure that everything's okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this roller, because I want to give this a second coat, but I don't want to burn another roller pad. And I don't want to clean this pad because I'm lazy and I don't want to do extra work. So what I'm going to do is, alright, so this wall looks real good. I'm real happy with the wall. Everything's fine. It might not even need another coat, but I'll probably come back and give it another coat. So let me show you what I'm going to do. Hang on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a Home Depot bag. I got to find one. Okay, so what I did is I got a Home Depot bag. I'm going to put my roller in here, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull this out if I can. This one's hard. Oh, there you go. And then what I'll do, hang on, I'll just put this carriage aside. So then what I'll do is I'll take all the air out like this, kind of give it a little bit of a twist up at the top, and then I'll lay that down. I'll keep it right here next to this painted wall so I know this one goes to this wall. I did the same thing for the ceiling. So this way, when I want to give it a second coat, I'm just going to use this roller again because it's going to be in a few hours. So I'm just going to set this down, and then I'm going to now move on to the other walls. Alright, I got this tool to help me with the cut-in. I've used it in the past, and I thought it worked out well. I haven't loaded it up with paint yet. It's empty, right? So what I did was I was just doing a test run. Let me show you where I was at. Hold on. Alright, so I'm working on the ceiling right there, and I don't have any paint on this. I'm just doing this as a test. So I just would load it up. Normally you would load this up with paint, put it up here, and it's got some rollers, and you kind of go like this. And it's supposed to cut in that edge right there so I don't have to get up there with the paintbrush. Problem is that, look what's happening to the ceiling. You zoom that in so you can possibly see that. You see right there? It's looking like, it's looking crappy. I mean, I'm going to have to touch up the ceiling now, even if this strategy does work. So then I got to ask myself, okay, do I want to cut in the ceiling, or do I want to cut in the walls? Alright, let me show you how I do this. So what I'll do is I'll take this, and I'll take a paintbrush, and I'll load up this with the paintbrush. Oops, got a little bit right there. Alright, so now that that's done, let me make sure that I'm nice and clean on this side. Hang on. So everything's clean on this side. That's supposed to touch the wall. And let's see what kind of results this thing gives us. Alright, this is my first time with this one in a long time. Alright, hang on, I'm trying to figure out if you can see that. Alright, here we go. Come right up, gentle. Now, in a perfect world, if this is done right, you shouldn't have to go back to it and cut in. And then you've got it ready to go for your roller right to it. It's actually not too bad. It's actually looking all right. I'm going gentle against the ceiling. I'll show you the zoom in just a second here. Then I'll just kind of touch this up to make sure there's no edge there. Okay, now let me lay this down. Alright, so I'm still going to have to touch the corner up with the brush. That's okay. But there's that edge, that corner. Now you can see the ceiling, how it definitely kind of marks up the ceiling a little bit there. So I have to go back against that. But it's cutting in that edge reasonably well. I'm going to go ahead and cut this in and do that, and just move it on, because that's kind of friendly, I guess. Alright, anyways, show you that. You know, I hadn't used this tool in so long I forgot how to use it. What I was supposed to do was take this, bring this back to get the rollers out of the way, and then load it up. This is too big to fit in the paint can, but if I had the tray loaded up, I could have dipped this in here and then it would have been loaded up, and then bring that back. One thing you got to keep doing is you got to keep these edges clean. Alright, so I just did this cut in with this tool here, and came out okay. Let's see here, there's a section right there. That's old, that's not from this job. Let me put this down. So anyways, this came out alright. Let me see if I can show you the detail. Anyways, as long as you keep your edges clean, like you can see on this one, I didn't even tape it. It's just, I just did it raw. Came out okay against this hard surface, as opposed to the ceiling, which gave me that result there. So I'm definitely going to have to go back and touch up my ceiling. So it worked better on the jamb, on the door jamb, than it did on the ceiling, but I'm going to give my ceiling a second coat anyways. Over here I did tape this door jamb, so I didn't even use the tool, I just used the brush here, but I did tape it. But anyways, just working, doing different techniques all the way around. But anyways, I'm ready to go ahead and roll this job out. So this color is called Navajo White, and I'll got it right there, and bare paint. I'll go ahead and put it on the wall. Alright, I'm going to show you everything with one. This is just one coat of paint. Let's see if you can see this. Can't even really tell where it blended in, can you? That's the color match. It came out really good. This is with that 8-year-old paint I was telling you about. Anyways, this is just one coat of paint on the wall. See if I can shine in so you can see any detail. This was the first texture wall I ever did in my entire life, and tried to get an orange peel finish, and whatever. It looks alright. Anyways, that's that one. Everything in here, again, one coat of paint. So ceiling white, up at the ceiling. I kind of noticed something over here. Looks kind of weird. Look at that right there. You can kind of see like a square roller mark. I don't know what that's all about. Hopefully the second coat will cover that in. The walls look good with one coat of paint. Texture looks good. Let's see here. Look at it from a distance a little bit. The lighting's probably off with this handheld light that I got. But everything's looking fine. So basically, I'm just going to put the camera down now, and I'm just going to do another coat for everything, starting with this ceiling in here, moving to this wall over here, then moving to these walls over here. Then everything will have one coat of primer, 2 coats of paint, and then I'm going to call it a day, and then we move on. Alright, so starting out here in the hallway, here's all the tape that's pulled off. So you can see that this wall's come done, except for the baseboard. I gotta just put the baseboard in there when I get to the baseboard section of the project. But you can see how the wall turned out really well, blended in nice. And that's your final product there. Coming into the bathroom, all the tape's been pulled off. I put up two brand new light fixtures. That's one. That's the other one. Oh, I should put that vent in. I forgot to do that. I'll have to put that in. Got a brand new vent. But all the plastic's been pulled off. You can see everything worked out well except for, hold on. So I got new electrical there. So I went over to white. I put a new light switch here, but I'm going to change that out for the push button style. So I don't think I have any of those in stock. I'll have to go and buy those. Anyways, the walls and ceiling and everything came out nice. The only part that I'm a little displeased with is right here. Okay, so when I pulled off the tape here at this transition, that was an ordeal. So I'm gonna definitely have to touch this up where the painted wall is. I'm gonna definitely touch that up to here and cut in. And I think I'll do that, let this dry, and then I'm gonna grab some more grout, and then I'm gonna re-grout that joint right there. and just try to get that feathered in a little bit nicer. I'm just hoping that I can clean this joint up a little bit. It's not terrible. The ceiling joint there, not bad. Show you the detail on that. All that's fine. I'm going to leave that alone. It's where your transitions is where your hardest part is. But so that is fine. I'm just unhappy with this joint right here on both sides. See how it's like discolored right there? Kind of dark. So I'm definitely going to touch this up with paint, and then I'm going to clean that up. I almost think that I might have been better off finishing this wall and then thin setting this piece in and then grouting the finished product. But the way my job worked out, I just had to do it that way. Here's around the window with the Navajo white. Not sure how well that's coming out on the camera. That's just a light bulb from the old light for the old fixture. And you know, basically that's it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint, let it dry, regrout. I noticed a section over here that for some reason was missing the grout. Right, there's a couple spots actually. I think there's one right there for whatever reason. Right there it's a little weak. I'll just go over the whole shower while I'm at it. Right there looks like a little spot. Maybe. Anyways, no big deal. Do that and get that cleaned up and then get that 100%. I guess I could even put my shower fixture head in and the trim right there. I'm going to leave this piece on here, but I'm going to pull this off here, and then I got to pull up this paper so this way I can start figuring out my floor, so I can start working on the floor. That's my next deal, so I can get this floor laid in, and that's what I'm working on.